Is there a joke of yours that you like that's like, it doesn't really work, but I know it's funny? So maybe I stopped doing it, but like, I know it's funny.
All my jokes work.
That's not true.
They all work.
You gotta be.
They might not work tonight, but I don't know how to think not funny. All those comedians, you might see them not have a great show one night, but all that shit works somewhere or we've stopped doing it. Just like you see dudes hollering at girls, hey, ho, come here. That shit didn't work with her, but that shit has worked before. Or else he would stop saying it. All these motherfuckers on top of these buildings.
It worked.
It worked one time before. Verica! Hey, mommy!
The Touré show. Okay, though. The Touré show. Okay, though.
That might be the best question I've ever been asked.
You're a phenomenal person. I mean, you legendary.
I am a fan of you, my brother.
Chris Spencer is an amazing comedian and an old friend, so I'm thrilled to have him on the show to talk about comedy and his new Vice TV show, The History of Black Comedy. Let's get into it. It's Chris Spencer on Touré Show.
Chris!
That was that About Time voice.
How you doing?
I'm superb.
How many Freakoffs did you go to?
Recorded? They never ever invite me to that stuff.
Everybody says that.
No.
Somebody had to be there.
Well, you've seen the people that are there, and you've heard about the people that are there, but for some reason, it's something
But
about
you're
me.
big enough. You know everybody.
Listen, I'm the kind of guy, when I go to a strip club, the girl comes over and says, oh, thanks, let me take a quick break. Like, you don't think I want to dance?
And be chill. No, but that's a strategy
this-
too. I'm just gonna sit and hang out with you and be nice with you and be
charge you.
girlfriendy. And of course.
No, I'm talking about, there's something about my face that says he don't deserve what I do. You know what I mean? Like, she wants to actually take a 15 minutes. This is halftime for her. So she can recharge and go dance with somebody else. I've been to Diddy's parties. I've never seen.
Yo.
Listen, I want to be one of those people where, like, when I'm watching other people say they didn't see nothing, say that. I've never seen nothing.
I've never seen nothing. No,
But I ain't never been to nothing. I've never been to the extravagant ones at the house. Most of the ones are at clubs.
Right. No, I got a lot of millennials in my life and online. You went to Diddy parties. Yes, I went to a lot of them. I went to his 40th birthday party at Cipriani. I went to white party in the Hamptons.
Right.
Like, I never saw anything at all. Anything
I think they know who to
weird.
pick.
There was a period when he was the best promoter in the city, maybe in the country.
You know what it is, Touré? I think they know me and you would tell. We right? They go like, yeah, you know, he got his podcasts and shows.
I'm in media. There's no way you're inviting media to the Freako. But you're funny.
Yeah, that's even worse.
You're making a nigga laugh. They'll be like, yo, we want...
Like, yo, what's all this baby oil? Get this nigga out of here. You know what I mean? And so it's probably, you can't really have, I haven't seen too many funny people on the tapes. So maybe funny and orgy don't go together.
Funny is not getting invited.
Funny is,
So we hung out in LA once, and I was thinking back on it today, and you took me to this underground spot that you were promoting, a comedy night that you were running. And there was a couple of people who murdered. But there was a woman who was a veteran comedian, and you were like, yo, she gonna kill it. And she bombed.
Right.
She bombed as hard as I have ever seen anyone bomb. And like she like started getting mad at the audience.
Was it the Comedy Act Theater I took you to?
I don't remember.
Robin Harris used to perform?
I don't remember. I don't remember that.
So here's the thing.
But bombing can be an extraordinary event. Like I remember that set more vividly than the guy after who killed.
Right.
And I remember laughing and the imagery he created, but I'm like, he was hysterical. But her, I remember vividly of like,
because she was trying things, right? Sometimes you're in an environment where, sometimes you know your act already works, right? We've been doing this for 30 years. I know this joke is gonna kill, I know. But I need to try something new. I have to grow, I wanna expand, I have new ideas, so I need to see if this works. You know what I mean? And then when you're in LA or in these smaller spots in New York, that's the time to experiment. Then you take that to Tuscaloosa and Phoenix and Detroit when they're paying real money to see you to do a polished act. You know what I mean? And that doesn't necessarily mean you won't have a bad set, but you're coming with your A game. If you're in town, okay, I'm gonna sprinkle this. Let me try this. I did this last night at work. Let me see if I try another angle. Like, she probably wasn't affected.
But you got to know how to respond when you lose them.
Yeah. It depends on your mentality that evening. If
What do you
I'm like,
mean?
I'm about to go work on some stuff, whatever happens, happens. Now, if I'm trying my best and all of a sudden I'm on a unicycle with torture dead and nothing's working, then it might be a long drive home. You know what I mean? Those hurt. That's when you see people quit. Like, what happened? I thought you did comedy. Oh, no, I'm a librarian now.
That's when you start thinking about quitting. I'm not good enough for this.
Because black audiences hurt.
Why?
Because when you do bad, you do bad.
Because they get mad because you wasted my money.
It just depends. Like, there's boos.
Yeah.
Worst of the boo is, don't worry about it, man. You'll get him next time. You know what I mean? So, but they're also the best audiences.
But white audiences are more forgiving?
Because they've paid their money. Look, you know what? He's on the marquee. Right? He's a professional comedian. Look, it says it right here, professional comedian.
He must know.
He must know.
But you better show me.
Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle. I've seen the last special. What do you have new?
Yeah.
We want new. We're the only profession.
I know.
Music.
I know.
If you go see Drake or Kendrick Lamar, you need to hear.
I'm doing a 30-year-old record. I want to hear that song you made.
I want to hear All Night Long.
I want to hear that.
I want to hear September.
I love that song in your first album.
Yes. Soon as you say, as a musician, all right, here's a little something I'm working on, you'd be like, I got to go pee.
You don't want to do new songs in concert at all.
But you have to.
No. You should avoid it because I should encounter as an audience. I should encounter the song at home, headphones, so I can clearly understand it, and then see you perform it.
Sometimes, but sometimes you've heard somebody do a new song and you go, okay.
I'd be like, I don't understand it. I got to go home and listen. Now I understand it.
Right. Okay.
But no, but your point.
With us, we always got to come with something new.
You can't redo. Do that joke you did from 5 years ago. Like, that never happens.
Some people can. Cosby could with his audience. Like, if you go see Cosby and he don't do The Dentist, or if he didn't do Noah's Ark.
He was doing stories, right? So it's like, Grandpa, tell that story about the time that you and your brother, right? So like,
but
you
it's
could
still
do
a
that,
bit.
right?
And I mean, Eddie Murphy, Goonie Goo Goo is a story. I'm not sure if he could do it, after the special came out. But his audience has grown. Cosby's audience has grown with him for 60 years. So there's certain things they expected. Yes, I just said Cosby.
You crazy. Why do you do comedy?
I couldn't breathe if I didn't do comedy.
Really?
Oh yeah, the writing, acting, producing, directing is fun.
Yeah.
But and I just told somebody earlier, if we were in high school and there was tables set up, because I and it was Spike Lee, Malcolm Lee, and F. Gary Gray at one table, and over here is all the writers, is Kenya Barris and all the showrunners, and there's another one producer table with Will Packer and those type of people, and then over here is Mike Epps and Cedric and Tiffany Haddish. I'm sitting over here.
That's you.
This
That's
is
your
who
heart.
I am. This is.
Well, why?
It's just in me. I've been an entertainer in some sort of fashion, making people laugh since I was a kid.
You were a funny kid?
The whole family's funny. Mom, dad.
Were you the funniest one? Were you the funniest one?
My dad is the funniest one. Quick. And it's so funny to marvel at him now, because people have always said, you're witty like your father. My parents are Jamaican. My family's Jamaican. So they're like, yeah, you're just like your father. And I'd be like, yeah. And I would see him in action. I'd be like, that's where I got it from. I don't know if I'm as quick as him, though. He's quick. He wasn't doing so well, right? Not too long ago. He was in the hospital. And, I'm visiting him. He's in the hospital. First of all, he's dirty. He's a dirty old Jamaican man.
What do you mean he's dirty?
His jokes are nasty.
Oh.
Dirty, not
Got
funky.
Got it.
He bathes.
Got it.
His jokes are always of a sexual nature.
Like what?
Here's him. This is him in the bed, barely can move, barely talking, barely eating. She's like, how you doing today? I'm all right. She goes, oh, your stomach, it's a bit hard. That's not the only thing that's hard. I'm like, all right, he's fixed. We could actually, you can check us out. He's good to go. That's my father.
But he was the funniest one. But so, sorry. So you were a funny kid. Were you the kid who like would make the teacher laugh?
Yes, class clown, but great grades at the same time. So she'd be like, I want to send you to the principal's office, but I need you to continue to entertain us.
Really?
Yeah.
So when did you start getting on stage?
College, UCLA. I transferred from Pasadena City College. I was a junior, and they had a summer program for transfer students. And I met Sully McCullough, who you've seen on the Jamie Foxx show. And he also played Crazy Legs in Don't Be a Menace in South Central while drinking juice in the hood. And some girls were talking. And they're like, so what do you want to do when you get out of here? He goes, well, I'm not going to wait till I get out of here. I want to do stand-up comedy. They're like, really? He's like, yeah, I'm going to do an open mic at the Laugh Factory. I'm going to go do that. And all the girls went crazy. Oh, my God, I love stand-up. I love Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor. And oh, my God, the Wayans family. What about you, Chris? I was like, stand-up comedy. Literally, I saw the attention he got. I'm like, I'm just as funny as him. And that's how I started doing stand-up. That, just like that. When I saw the attention, and I was like,
I'm going to go do what he does.
I'm going to do what he does.
And y'all went together?
We went together. First time was incredible. Second time, I was like, maybe I should continue to fulfill this sociology degree requirement. It was easy the first time. I was like, oh, this is it. And then the second time was okay. The third time, I got my ass handed to me. And then it let me know this is going to be work. Because the first time I was like, this is easy.
So then you started to work at it.
Work at it hard.
Which means what?
Which means go to different clubs and work this little same 5 minutes over and over and over again, which I didn't do as much as I should have. Like, you young comedians out there, you should get your act and hone that act. And if stuff doesn't work, take it out. But if it's working, continue to do that and build your voice. Because of my natural wit, and I have this thing where I like to go up and not know what's going to work. It's crazy.
What do you mean?
I like to go up and do all new material sometimes.
Okay, that's scary.
It's scary. Not scary, but sometimes it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And it probably impeded my progress as a comedian. Because people are like, why can't we do the thing about the Lakers? Like, oh, I didn't feel like doing it tonight. It works. I know. But did you see the thing I did about the ice cream? They're like, it didn't work. Yeah, but it's going to work. I was addicted to that. I'm addicted to, and I think that's why I loved hosting rooms. Because, when I hosted a comedy room, I couldn't do material from last week or the week before, because a lot of these people are the same people. So I had to always be coming up with new stuff. And that's why, there's a big thing now with crowd work, right? I naturally did that already before it became a thing. And so I love not knowing. I could look at somebody and do 5 minutes on them. Not necessarily joning or bagging or talking bad about them, but they'll say something that could trigger some possible new material.
I would feel a slight bit of terror walking to the mic in front of 100,000, whatever, and not knowing what I was going to say.
I don't know about 100,000. I'm talking about
100 or 1,000.
Oh yeah, no,
and like not knowing what I was going to say.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, never had crack, but I think that's what it feels like. I think.
So who taught you how to do this?
Taught? I don't know if anybody taught me, but early on, I toured with Damon Wayans, and so I learned a lot from the Wayans family doing stand-up. I also toured with Jeff Foxworthy, which is two totally different people. But I toured with Jeff first, and I just noticed, I knew that this wasn't my audience. I mean, it sounds obvious, but I was like, they're not laughing the way we laugh. It was a nice applaud, and they appreciated me. I needed us. You know what I mean? And I remember I started going out with Damon, but I started Alex Thomas and Daryl Heath, some dear friends of mine. They did more urban rooms than I did. And I started going out with them. And they would always get when people said they loved them, it was, you stupid, you a fool. And they would say to me, nice set. Like, I don't want some crip from Long Beach telling me I had a nice set. I want to be a fool. I want to be stupid. I want to be ignorant. And I remember when I finally knew I arrived with black audiences, Because the same thing happened. They go to Duro, you stupid, Alex, you ignorant. And they said to me, you are so simple. I was like, me? Thank you very much. I've been trying to be simple my whole life, my whole comedy career. And that's when I knew that's the kind of laughs we like. You know what I mean? I didn't want to hear nice set. Just sounded like it was too perfectly neatly shaped in a
he's
box.
Professional and
He's a professional comedian. Look at him.
No, but he's a fucking idiot. That, like, he says stupid shit.
Chris Rock told me, he didn't like some of his earlier material or his early specials because he looked too much like a comedian. He said, think about your favorite comedians. You know what they do? You know what they do great? They're just up there talking shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the goal. Think about your favorite. They're up there talking shit. Even Seinfeld, he might not cuss, but he's talking shit about the world and his observational, the things that he observes.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking shit about them, and that's what makes him great.
As opposed to what? As opposed to, like you're saying...
Did you hear the one about the...
Don't look like a comedian, be a comedian.
Be a comedian. Yeah.
I saw Damon when he was very young. I was 17. He came to a comedy club in Boston. And this must have been the first or second year of In Living Color, right? Because I remember watching it when I was in high school. And that's the only way I would have known who Damon Wayans was. And I was like, yo, let's go. And me and a couple of my friends... And he was very young, and I remember he did, part of the set he said, I don't do impressions, I do oppressions. You remember that? And he said, one of them was a black man on the weekend. He was like holding the bar, it's like, when y'all gonna let me out? A black man working at IBM, and then he starts sweeping. And I thought it was really funny. And I was sitting on the edge where he would walk when they go off back from the stage. And I remember I said to him, like, yo, that was like good set. And he was like, thank you. And he seemed to really be like grateful of like genuinely, thank you so much.
Right.
And I was like, wow, like I didn't know this big star would like really care that some kid was like, yo, that was good.
No, we appreciate that.
He loved that.
Yeah. You just want to hear it from some big old crip. You shouldn't even know what the word set means.
So who are the guys, women, whatever, who sort of taught you as far as you watching, as far as like your influences, your parents?
Of course, there's the Richards, the Eddies.
Mm-hmm.
Damon
Wayans.
Damon. I used to want to be a Wayans. I used to walk around like this so people thought I was one of them. Because Sean was an incredible writer. Marlon was a great performer. Keenan was a hell of a writer.
Kim
didn't really do stand-up. She would dabble every now and then. She's a hell of a storyteller, and she could do characters very well, which is why she was so great on In Living Color.
Yep.
Who else early on? Reggie McFadden, I used to watch.
Interesting.
There's some names I'm going to say you're going to be like, oh, I kind of remember him. Daryl Heath, like I said earlier. But in terms of our peers, Chris Rock, Dave, you know what I mean? Even Kevin's charm, his delivery, his storytelling skills. Mike Epps is great to watch. Cedric, DL, they all have something to offer, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, sure.
They all are professional comedians that could kill anytime they want to.
I have a theory that all comedians are either phone book people or material people. So like if you're a phone book person, you have a silly voice and a silly air about you, and you could read the phone book and make it funny, right? And I think like Bernie Mac, Chappelle, Cat Williams reading the phone book could be hysterical.
Right.
And then there are material people who like need the material to be meticulously right, and they will crush. And that's like a Chris Rock, Jerry Seinfeld, and there's no better or worse. It's just who you are.
Where do you put Dave Chappelle?
See, I think Dave is a little of both, which would happen when you're the fucking best, you're the fucking Tiger Woods of the whole shit. But I think Rock is definitely more material. Right. Eddie is probably a phone book guy, like right? Eddie and Richard Pryor. I mean, the material, of course, is spectacular. Right?
But they can also pick up the phone book and just be funny.
What do you think about that?
I'm loving this. I've never heard this done. Now I'm trying to go through all these people and figure out who they are. Yeah. Because some people just have a funny, sometimes it's unfair. Sometimes somebody just walk on stage and start laughing. They have an air about them.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean,
Mike Epps, as soon as he walks on stage and touches the mic, you're smiling. You know, he does something like this. He makes a face. Some people just have that.
There's some people come out and they do something funny.
Right.
And some people come out and grab the mic and say, thank you, give it up for the other person, or I'm so glad you're here,
Right.
Sandy. And I'm like, you haven't started the show yet. And I'm like, why don't you just start the show like right at the beginning?
Oh, we don't have to.
I mean, you don't have
Yeah,
to.
but you definitely want to show love to the guy who opened up for you, or thank the building or the sponsors or whatever. That's confidence. I don't have to. I am the puppet master. I'll start this when I'm ready to start it. You know what I mean? And those are the comedians I love. They don't have to come out and start doing cartwheels immediately. Like Damon Wayans said, you're never going to be great until you can appreciate the silence. So the things that I used to find scary, I love now.
Wait, you found silence scary.
I used to, but now I love it.
What scared you about it before?
Because you want to hear laughter to let me know that everybody's enjoying me.
Right.
I want laughs instantaneously every time I say something.
Right.
But now I like to sit back and be like a quarterback and just, dodge the defense, and he's open, not yet. And then I know when it's time, I can always rifle it in and give me a touchdown.
Yeah.
Chappelle's the greatest at that.
Yeah.
Storytelling, you're like, where is he going? All of a sudden, he takes the pin out the grenade, he's doing like this, and then goes.
He had the one bit that murdered me about
Anthony Bourdain?
No, that I'm
That one.
so good at this.
I could take the punchline.
I could write the punch, and then he said the punchline.
Yeah.
And then he seemed to forget I said that.
Mm-hmm.
Timmy's going over to the house for stuffing.
Genius.
And we don't have any stovetop. And so I kicked her in the pussy, and I'm like, oh my, and then he's like walking around stage like celebrating, like, I told you I'm great at this.
He's great.
But I told you the punchline and you still didn't see it coming.
He's a pro. He really enjoys that stage. Like, there's some people who are like, love 15,000, 20,000 people. Mm-hmm. Kevin. Sebastian Maniscalco, you ever seen him?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Great. Some people love a big room. And there's some people like Dave who like 250, 500 is his sweet spot.
Mm-hmm.
He likes intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll go do 6 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Who else would get you out of bed at 2? Yes.
Did you have a hat on?
Has it been there the whole time? Thanks.
It's probably been there the whole time. I didn't see it.
Let's start all over.
Is he clean?
No, you wiped it down further.
I see you. Now you got it. Now you're perfect. Now you're perfect.
You guys got Photoshop, right?
Well, if I didn't see it, it really wasn't that noticeable. You had turns.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Right.
oh, yeah, it was really small. But we'll check it out.
All right. We can add this. Add this. I just got that new scarf on.
I remember many years ago when Dave was in the wilderness and Corey, his manager, told me, yo, he's going up tonight, cellar, probably 3 a.m. And I'm like, honey, I'm going to the cellar tonight. I'm not going to be able to help you with the kids in the morning because Dave's going on at 3. Who could get you out of bed? Like, I call you, you're in bed at midnight, like, yo, so-and-so's going up at the spot in an hour, and you'd be like, throw on the jacket, like, yo, I got to see what he or she's got to say.
Alive?
Probably alive, although if the
I've seen him already.
If the real answer is dead, then let's go with that.
Dead, it's a young Richard. Or alive, Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy right now, if he said, listen, Chris, I'm going to be in Phoenix. Can you get a flight? I'm doing Touré. Yeah, end the Touré show a little early. I'd be like, Touré, anything else?
We gotta go.
Eddie Murphy could get me. I think he can get many people because we haven't seen him in 30 years.
Right.
I would love to hear what he has to say.
I mean, he's special. You know, we talk about there's no prodigies in comedy, but he's like the exception.
There's one more to me.
Who?
Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx.
How old was he when he was really starting to kill?
20s. But here's a new special coming out.
But your man was a teenager.
Yes.
Killing.
Yes.
National phenomenon.
Right. Okay, so that's when we saw him. I'm saying Jamie had that, but we didn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As a young teenager who can sing, rap, dance in just one show. You know, he can piano, his voice. So, you know, I just finished helping to produce his Netflix special, which comes out December 10th.
Oh, wow.
You're in for some magic.
Wait, does he talk about Diddy in this?
I don't know if it's still there. But he had some masterful Diddy jokes that if it's not there, I'm going to use them in my special.
Because we heard he was going to say,
yes,
he's the reason why I went into a coma.
he joked about it.
Yes.
And somebody said, oh, I saw it, and he put it out online.
Yes.
Yeah.
So are we saying?
He said he called the feds.
So are we asserting that?
I don't know. I haven't seen the finished cut. But if it's not there, it'll be in my special. And it's not stealing if you tell them you're taking it.
Right. Is that how that
That's how it
works?
works, y'all. Listen, are you going to do
Who
that
would you
joke
be
anymore?
afraid to follow? Aside from the people we've
Right.
discussed, right? We've discussed like the upper, like, okay, you're going to follow something like, no.
I'm not afraid to follow anybody with my audience.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And when I say by my audience, us, half Jack and Jill, gangbangers with both parents, right?
Wait, were you in Jack and Jill?
No,
Because I was in Jack and Jill.
I know you were.
How do you know that?
Look,
I didn't want to do it.
nobody wants to do it, but you were you probably were a little knucklehead. And they're like, we got to teach them how to use both forks.
No, it was zero knucklehead. It was all ascensionism. We are fucking moving.
I'm talking about knucklehead in the streets. I'm talking about a knucklehead at home.
No,
I'm sure you had a mouth.
We had, for sure.
Yeah.
We had an annual party in New York. So we were the Boston chapter, and all the tri-state,
Right.
Boston, all would like come together at the Copa right? And it was Malcolm Jamal Warner came, right? And I remember watching him walk onto the dance floor while Cosby Show was blazing hot. And he was like walking the dance floor, like his arms up, like he just hit the three-pointer, and all the girls were screaming and surrounding him. I'm like, oh my God, this motherfucker is murdering it. And Tempest Bledsoe is off in the corner, like all quiet and shy and chilling. You know, I went up to her and asked her to dance. She was like, no, thank you.
You're like, I'm from the Alpha chapter in Boston of the Jack and Jillers. Yeah.
But Jack and Jiller's like you.
Yeah.
You speak
just
well.
my audience.
You're articulate.
Yeah. Adjacent.
Not adjacent.
Yes.
Not adjacent.
Listen,
You finish the words and stuff.
Sometimes I need spell check in my conversation. But anyway, just there's something like if it's my audience, you know what I mean? Like I gotta follow anybody. But if I'm in Tuscaloosa or deep in the heart of Memphis, I'm not going after Lavelle Crawford or Arnaz J or any of those people who do that audience.
The more chillin' circuit audience.
Just a little bit more. That's not an audience I normally do.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can do them. I don't do them enough. For example, I'm in Memphis. I'm at this club, and I'm saying shit that you don't say to this crowd.
Like what?
Where my vegans at?
And there's no vegans in Mississippi. They're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
They put bacon on their ice cream.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I was like, oh, okay. Yo, how many people are tired of these private schools raising their prices? Huh? You, sir? Anybody else? It's crazy, right? Anybody? No. That's for me not doing the country enough. That's me being in LA, New York, Chicago.
Does that joke about private school work in LL?
Of course, because in LA, I mean, listen, I do all rooms. So
But if you're in LA, maybe half the room is like, word, brother. In Alabama, to me, it's funny because if only the comic is raising his hand.
there's
that's
nobody in
funny.
Alabama raising their hand.
That's what I'm saying. If you're the only one,
And when you
raising,
go out
that's
of
funny to
town,
me.
when you go out of town and your kids are in private school, something's wrong with your kid.
What?
There's something wrong. He has an education. He has learning disabilities. Those are the kids that go to private schools. Other places, he gets in fights. We got to send him to a private school. In LA, the public schools are so bad, you got to send him to private school.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's different. So when I say private school, they're like, "What's wrong with your baby?" You know what I mean? I'm like, no, we have to. LA Unified has 46 kids in a class.
Right.
And they're sharing books
Drama.
that are from 3, 4, 15 years ago. So you have to go to private school in LA.
You crazy. Tell us about your new show.
It's called Black Comedy in America. And it's an introspective look, 10 episodes on 10 historical moments in Black comedy. Like the first episode, we did the Kings of Comedy. We brought Cedric, DL, and Steve back.
Beautiful.
And they haven't really been back together like that since Bernie's funeral.
Beautiful.
And to hear these guys tell stories and see how much they love each other and then show their respect for Bernie and to hear those stories, I was just like a child watching. Basically, these are 3 more of my heroes that you can add to that pile. And it was just like great to hear like the fun, the money, the drama of hearing these guys. So that was the first year. The first
Def Comedy Jam episode.
That was number 2. And just to hear about Russell.
Def Comedy changed the world for Black comics. It was a massive phenomenon.
Ain't nobody having a DJ at a comedy show.
But like, nobody's having that much access to seeing Black comics weekly.
And we got to thank Bob Sumner. He's the one that scoured the countryside and found Chris Tucker and found Bernie Mac and found Bill Bellamy and found Adele Givens and found, you know what I mean? So that was his job.
They created a vibe where it was like, don't think about HBO.
Right.
Think about we're at a comedy club in the hood and we're going to like rip our weave off and that's going to be a hysterical joke.
Exactly. Yeah. It wasn't the cookie cutter, hi, I'm a stand-up. It was like jazz or hip hop.
You know, it was way blacker than Comic View.
I don't know about that.
Because I think Comic View was it was quite often simplistic. It was quite often Black people are like this and white people are like this. And I'm like, it's very white-centric. Y'all keep talking about white people. We're at BET. Def Comedy Jam was being Black. Like the comedy, you were being, like, you know, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. You are being Black. White people don't exist in that thought, you know, or when Adele takes off her wig, because they're going to beat up a guy.
Adele didn't take off her wig. Simply Marvelous took off her wig.
Excuse me. But they're going to beat up a guy who had messed up with the girl, the sister. Like, white people don't exist in that story. And
would you call that blacker?
Yes. I mean, just the whole of Def Comedy Jam, to me, was blacker and more complex, and it was being Black rather than performing Blackness. Comic View was so fucking simple.
Well, not necessarily, because the same people that did Comic View did Def Jam.
But they would crush and be iconic.
Sure, yeah, I mean, it would be the best of the Comic View people on Def Jam. So
but Def Jam's had better, curated, better people.
Sure, yeah. It was a little harder to get on Def Jam.
Yeah.
So Stan Lathan, Russell Simmons, and Bob Sumner did an incredible job.
And what else? There's an episode on Chappelle.
There's a Chappelle episode. I believe it's our last episode. I actually went to Yellow Springs and shot him in a farmhouse in Yellow Springs, where the cornfield is right there. I'm like, that's really corn.
What did we learn about Chappelle in this episode that we don't already know?
You want me to give it away?
Yeah.
His struggle, hearing it from, we've heard, I think we heard it when he was on the Actors Studio, but that was so long ago. We heard it on Oprah when all that stuff first happened. But like, he tells you about the Chappelle Show struggle, but then the struggle of being Dave and carrying on this legacy since these specials. You know what I mean? He talks about a little bit about his family, which we don't usually hear about. He talks about how he was doing these shows in the cornfield, and everybody from
COVID shows,
the COVID shows, yes. And everybody was there, from Chris Rock to Louis C.K. to Bill Burr, Tiffany, Chris Rock, Kevin Hart, like the creme de la creme. Lunel, of course, Donnell Rollins. They all were there in the cornfield. So he talks about the struggle with doing the shows, the struggle with the city trying to shut him down. And I was just there. He's really the mayor. being with him there is almost like a Chappelle sketch. Like we're the only two black people driving to the. Hey, Dave. Hey, how you doing, white man? Like, and these are people he grew up with.
Right.
Who was that white lady? That was my 5th grade teacher.
Right.
You know what I mean? That girl right there, yeah, she dated the point guard on the basketball team. And yeah, he knows everybody in the town. Yeah.
I mean, it's just such an extraordinary talent to crush on stage, to
Fearless.
crush
Fearless.
sketch comedy.
Fearless.
You know, and the development of his skills from the young guy, you know, doing the crack selling baby
Yes.
to where we are now with like OJ. And
846.
then, I mean, like, it's a brilliant use of his platform and his mind and his, you know, I'm like, Tiger Woods is the Dave Chappelle of comedy. Like, I mean, Tiger Woods is the Dave Chappelle of golf. Like,
yeah. But it comes from, yes, he has the skill for sure, but it's Malcolm Gladwell with the 10,000 hours. Like, Dave Chappelle probably has 1,014,000 zillion hours on stage. And so that muscle is always ready. Yes, and that's what he says actually, that's one thing he said on the show. Like most people, when it's time to go on stage, they have to get ready. He's always ready. He's always ready.
It feels like he doesn't like get psyched up. He just sort of comes out and just starts talking.
This is what he does. Yeah, that's more like what you said earlier. Sometimes you just go up and say, hey, can you believe? Like, oh, we started? You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, he's very mellow.
Yeah.
He does a lot. He used to do a lot with the cigarette.
He still has it.
But there would be a lot of like, and Neil Brennan pointed out to me, like, no, that's an important part of it, that I'm about to smoke it, but then he doesn't. And like, the putting it down is, I have something so important to say that I'm going to. So this is not like a throwaway part of it. Like the cigarette whole thing in and out is meant to direct you through the importance of what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. He has it, but it's not like that. Now that you mention it.
What do you mean?
He doesn't do so much like you're saying.
Not anymore, but does.
Yeah. Interesting.
You got a whole Kevin Hart episode?
Yeah. Fantastic. To hear him talk about his struggles at that level, like, I'm like, oh my God, like they're still struggling. You know what I mean? Yeah. Every level there's struggle. So we do that. We do the Chitlin Circuit episode, which I keep forgetting the name of it. Basically, we go back to Mantan Moreland and Moms Mabley and talk about the importance of those doors being opened and the advent of blackface and how, we weren't getting jobs because white people were painting their faces and getting these jobs and imitating us.
Right.
We do a rom-com, which we think is the best rom-com, which is The Best Man. So, Tiffany actually goes on and interviews Malcolm Lee and talks about that process.
I love The Real Husbands of Hollywood.
Why, thank you.
That show, you're a producer, writer, founder, creator,
executive producer.
It was so real.
Yeah.
And I knew some of those guys, and I was like, they're really kind of like being.
Well, they had no choice. They had no choice. Like literally, if you effed up, like the next day it'd be in the script. They'd be like, "Oh, dude, come on, man! I just got this kidney."
But the way they would act, and I think that was the first time I really started to understand the genius of Kevin. I was like, oh, he's willing to be the butt of the joke.
Oh, that's why, listen, people talk about the wrong things when they describe Kevin Hart now because he's such a mogul, right? It's, he's such a great businessman. No, Kevin's funny, and he puts it all on the table. He gets divorced. Before the ink is dry, it's on stage. He's talking about his dad being on crack. He talks about everything. He opens himself up to you, just like Richard did.
But I think with Richard into Eddie, into Rock and Chappelle, part of the gesture was an ego gesture. I am not a clown. I am brilliant, and I'm going to spit my game, and you're going to fucking laugh your ass off, right? And Kevin is a clown. and laugh at me, laugh at my
Right.
pain,
Right.
right? And like I will fall and appear to hurt myself, or actually hurt myself if that's what I need to do,
Right.
right?
Because most black comics don't self-deprecate.
Right. Chappelle's not right? Chris Rock is a public intellectual who's self-deprecating.
Right.
Right? Richard Pryor? Eddie Murphy?
Not in a leather suit, you don't self-deprecate.
Kevin Hart? I'm like, I will pratfall for you.
Right.
Right? Which is, so it's a different lane.
Yeah. Yeah, and people love it. That's why he sells out theaters and stadiums around the world. Yeah.
So who else?
Who else opens up like that?
No, who else deserves a whole episode to themselves? I think you said 10.
I can tell you who did. Eddie, Richard, Kevin, and Dave in this first incarnation. We couldn't just do everybody else. Because
Right,
you know,
right.
there's people who will get second season, third season.
Who would get their own episode in the second season?
Chris Rock's got to get his own episode.
Right, of course.
You know what I mean? Whoopi.
Mm-hmm.
Whoopi Goldberg should have her own episode.
God, I remember that Smokey Fontaine special.
Man,
Why Am I Straight?
why am I straight? Yeah, she's a comedic
She
genius.
was murdering. And when she was on stage talking about, I wish I had blonde hair. Oh my God.
You could tell that was real.
Yes.
That
And
hurt.
it was beautiful. Right? See, like, y'all will like laugh. And then about 3/4 in, you'd be like, I want to get deep. I want to talk about my pain. Your pain too, probably. And then I'm like, God damn, it's been silent. I want to cry. I
Right.
can hear a pin drop.
Wait, do you see this Jamie special? Have tissue.
I mean,
too,
if
young
you talk
man.
about almost dying, then like, yeah.
Right? It's in rehearsals, we would cry at the same stuff that we cried about 2 weeks ago. Like, it's deep. It's deep. And he's got the skills to actually pull it off.
God, what did you do on the roast of Tom Brady?
I just wrote for Kevin. I used to have a list of the stuff that didn't make it. I had a lot of jokes.
Please.
I think I erased it.
Oh,
I'm not stupid enough to erase. I'm too vain to erase it. Hold on. I think I've been waiting for this interview.
to erase it.
Hold on a second. I had some stuff that Kevin is too dark for Kevin.
Oh, I want to hear Too
And then
Dark for Kevin.
Okay.
He does think of himself as a brand, right? And like wanting to be like
Smart.
Disney.
Oh, here they go.
Like everybody can, right? Everything has to be like, everybody can like me.
Oh, God.
Oh, I think he found it.
They're mean.
Come on, tell me.
Let's see. So you know the people who are on the dais. So you know we hit everybody on the dais.
For sure.
These are my friends. I feel bad. Jeff Ross is here. He looks like Roseanne Barr with alopecia.
Okay.
Nikki Glazer is built like Gronk's middle finger. Nikki, I hope you don't feel bad. Bert Kreischer has bigger titties than you.
Yeah, and Bert would love that.
Bert should go on a TV show where they put him in the wilderness and call it, in the wilderness naked and call, take two. Bert should be on take three. Bert should go on a TV show where they put him in the wilderness with his shirt off called Naked and Scared All the Animals Away. This is too mean. I'll show you this after.
No, tell me.
Tom Brady once walked into the wrong house and didn't get shot. That's the true meaning of white privilege.
Yeah.
Tom Brady is the GOAT, and Jeff Ross, you look like one.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I look at Gronk, I think of the movie The Green Mile, but white.
I know y'all are competitive, right? Comedians are competitive.
Giselle Bundchen is here. She was Antonio Brown's +1. Remember, there was rumors that, and yeah. Giselle is donating half of her alimony to Black Lives Matter.
Wait, were you told no Giselle jokes, or you were
No,
like,
I wrote everything, and then I found out later, like, you weren't supposed to do any Robert Kraft jokes. So let me show you some of Robert Kraft jokes.
Please.
Because I guess he got caught with the massage shit.
Yeah.
Robert Kraft traded you to Tampa Bay, but originally he wanted to trade you to Mia's House of Cum. Robert Kraft traded you to Tampa Bay, but originally there were other of his favorite organizations that he wanted you to go to. Love you long time. No trouble for me. Tom Brady has the most unathletic body I've ever seen of a professional athlete. And the pro combines, I heard your 40 time was measured in minutes. This is too mean. I'll show you this one after. All right, hold on a second.
So no Kraft jokes.
Yeah, I heard later you couldn't do any Robert Kraft jokes.
But afterwards, Tom was like, "Oh, Giselle was mad."
Do you remember when what's his name? Jeff Ross did a Robert Kraft joke, and Tom Brady goes,
"Yes,
cut it out," or what?
Well, I didn't know was that part of the bit? Like it's I couldn't tell. Is this part of the whole shtick of it all, or? I mean, that's not the.
See, here's the main one. You know who Sam J is?
Of course.
Okay, but she lost so much weight.
She's been on the show like 3 times.
We couldn't do the joke because she's so skinny now.
Okay.
But Sam J, I don't know if I should. Sam J, I don't know if I should address you. I don't know if you should be addressed. Okay, this is typed wrong. I don't know if I address you as, I don't know if, Sam J, I don't know if I should address you as they because of LGBTQ or it's because you're big as 3 people. But she's all slumber and sexy now.
That's not a bad joke.
Yeah, but we couldn't do it.
That's not a bad joke.
Kevin would never do a mean joke like that to her. Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer are here. They have a podcast together called We Got No Pussy Until We Were Famous. This is a roast. Roast jokes got to be mean.
That's fine.
Yeah, this was fun. I mean, I love doing roast.
For sure.
Oh, that's one of my favorite things in the world.
But you guys are competitive comedians.
I'm not.
I mean, in general, comedians are competitive. Like, you look at a roast like that and people think somebody won.
I got to be funnier than you.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's clear who won that roast.
Nikki Glaser.
Yeah. She freaking murdered. It was crazy.
Yeah. She's good at that.
Yeah. No, she loves the roasts.
Yeah.
She's fucking funny as shit. God, you were the host of Vibe.
Damn.
Who do you remember that?
Of course. Especially, considering
Quincy Jones for sure.
It's
How
the one that gave
long
me
did that last though?
For me, 11 weeks.
How could it last 11 weeks?
This is what they did. And I was so funny. They wouldn't let me talk about it back then.
The amount of money that it takes to set up a TV show.
Oh, but they do that all the time.
But you like the stop after 11 weeks.
Remember, it was just get rid of me and then they put in Sinbad.
I know.
So the reason that, it was a setup from the beginning. I mean, they put me and Keenan on at the exact same time. There's this underserved audience we haven't heard from since Arsenio's gone. And then now let's give 2 black shows. They launched at the same day at the same time. And it was almost like watching Django. Like, put these 2 niggas in there and watch them fight. They're gonna kill themselves.
You fucked up.
Right?
Django.
I could never say it back then, but it was the truth. That's why these 2 niggas wrestle in the mud.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow. So why did it stop after 11 weeks?
Ratings. Ratings. So they figured Simba had a bigger name. They looked at the landscape of late night. It was Dave and Jay and Keenan, and they were all, I think, late 40s, late 40s, almost 50, and they figured they needed a host around that age. And I was 29 at the time. So they're like, this is what late night needs, an older person. And what they needed was just for one person to be by himself for a little bit and then bring on another one, but not announce at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like the connector of all the comedian folks. Like, everybody knows Chris. Like, you're like 1 degree of separation. How did that happen that like Chris knows everyone, is friends with everyone? Like, I mean, that's real, right? Like, like more than anybody, you are the network connector of all the black comics.
It's because I've always lived in LA. And so
you grew up in LA.
And then I had comedy rooms in LA, whether it be Chocolate Sundays or Trippin' on Tuesdays.
That you were running.
Or in Inglewood. So they all came to my spots, right? I wrote for the award shows. So now I'm writing material for you, or we're sharing the material that you're going to actually go up there.
But to run a
So
room
there begins
and
a
an award
trust.
show, you're going to see a lot of people.
I'm gonna see them all, everybody, and so there becomes this trust. You know what I mean? And like I tell some of these younger comedians, like, first of all, this younger generation is better than us because they really work together and aren't jealous of each other and will put on an iPhone and shoot a movie or do a sketch or do something on social media. Like, they really work together. And what they have to realize is somebody's gonna blow up in your crew, right? And then they're gonna get an opportunity, which, like me, Jamie Foxx is gonna host the ESPYs, and then they're gonna hire some white people to write the ESPYs, and Jamie's gonna go, no, I need my writers to write for me. So all you guys around here, Country Wayne is gonna end up hosting the BET Awards, and he's gonna grab some of y'all, so y'all stay tight. But they're already kind of tight.
Who's the next generation who you love?
Comedians?
Yeah, because you're saying the next generation.
The next
better.
generation is Ryan Davis, who's my co-host on this show. He's fantastic. I'm gonna tell you if this was high school and if I was a senior, he is not a freshman like these guys, but he went to continuation school and now he's back and he's in the 10th grade, but he's amazing. Or he went away, he moved to Mississippi and came back.
Is Hannibal?
T.I.
T.I.
Woo!
T.I. is a stand-up comic?
I'm sorry, T.I. is a rapper. Tip is a stand-up comedian.
Really?
Yeah, and he's very good. We just did a show not too long ago at the City Winery here.
Really?
This dude is an incredible storyteller. His confidence. He almost had too much too early. You know what I mean? Because he knew after I leave here, if the show wasn't bad, I got a big-ass house. I got a big-ass car. And I think that was to his detriment in the beginning, but it also became his strength because he wasn't afraid of the silence. And now there is no silence unless he wants it. Yeah, he's gonna surprise a lot of people.
No, we were talking about that before. The silence. If you are comfortable as the comedian in the silence, that communicates confidence.
Yeah.
How?
Just like when you're interviewing somebody and you go, what happened Thursday? You were there, weren't you? Like, I have to wait to figure out what you're gonna say, when you're gonna say it. You're moving me. I'm the puppet master. Damon's great at that too. Yeah, there's some people with jokes, that are great at that. But then there's some people who like to sit in the pocket, wait for people to get open. And then some people are Michael Vick. I gotta get out of here.
Who's Michael Vick?
Mike Epps is Michael Vick. He's Cat's Michael Vick. DL. Some people, there's some people who like to just survey. I love Bill Burr.
Everybody loves Bill Burr.
Yeah. Bill Burr is a victim like how, like, we would be saying Bill Burr was the greatest if it was no Dave Chappelle. Like, he's like Farrah Fawcett when Michael Jackson died. Like, they died on the same day, but you do not remember Farrah Fawcett died too? Oh yeah, okay. Bill Burr is Bill Burr. I mean, and listen, and he still is one of the GOATs. But I think, when we say the word Dave Chappelle so much in this time, because he's so great. Like, if you go watch Bill Burr's specials, you'll be like, God, this motherfucker's a genius. Genius. Yeah, I love watching them. You know what else I love? Who'd you say earlier? Hassan. Did you say
Hassan Minaj. Really?
He's a very good storyteller. He loves the silence. And that's why I guess a lot of people's favorites are people that are similar to them. You're talking to comedians. And those are the people you go, wow, like, that's the kind of comedy I do and like. You know what I mean? Stuff a little different.
Is there a joke of yours that you like that's like, it doesn't really work, but I know it's funny. So maybe I stopped doing it, but like, I know it's funny.
All my jokes work.
That's not true.
They all work.
You gotta be.
They might not work tonight, but I don't know how to think not funny. All those comedians, you might see them not have a great show one night, but all that shit works somewhere or we've stopped doing it. Just like you see dudes hollering at girls, hey, ho, come here. That shit didn't work with her, but that shit has worked before. Or else he would stop saying it. All these motherfuckers on top of these buildings.
It worked.
It worked one time before. Hey, mommy.
But there's a trial period where you're like,
Yeah.
I'm trying new shit.
Yeah.
I tried this shit.
Sometimes I put stuff away and went and dug it up 3 years later, 5 years, 10 years later. Like I've had jokes not work and I go, it's been working for 3 or 4 years. And then I put it away and bring it back.
Really?
It's weird. I'll give you an example. I just did this joke the other night and I couldn't believe it. I was so happy it worked again. I used to say, this stopped working. I said, men and women have a communication problem. We say the same things, but it's always interpreted differently. Like my wife would say, I haven't seen you in 2 days. And I'd be like, I just saw your ass 2 days ago. For a minute, it was like, what happened to that joke? And then now it's like, oh. And it could have been me saying it lazy because I used to do it all the time. I didn't have that same energy to give it. You never know with comedy. It's like on any given Sunday, you don't know what's going to happen.
It's a science.
It's a science.
And most of us don't understand what you guys are doing up
No
there.
idea.
That there's a whole science happening and all we know is we're laughing.
For example, in the Richard Pryor episode, we think Richard Pryor is just up there bullshitting and just talking shit and it's not planned, right? George Lopez tells a story about him being a young comedian and he walks into the back of the Comedy Store and he sees Richard Pryor in his yellow canary Rolls Royce. And he's about to go up and tap on the window. But Richard Pryor is listening to the little, remember the little cassette tapes? Like he's studying himself. People used to say Richard Pryor would walk into the Comedy Store on Monday, bomb, Tuesday, bomb, Wednesday, okay, Thursday, Friday, standing ovation, Saturday, standing ovation. Like, these dudes are scientists. That's why these dudes do these 100 city tours and then do a special. They've perfected all that stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. They just make it look like they're making it up. They make it look like they're just talking shit.
Right. The art is to make it look like I'm saying all this for the first time and I'm just saying this and, oh my God, callback.
Right.
Oh my God, callback on the callback. Right. I do know what I'm saying, but I told you I didn't. But
that's the art.
God, I mean, but it is a little different, right? Like if I go Friday and Saturday night, I'm going to see a little bit of a different show.
In terms of
you, if I go see you Friday night and Saturday night.
Well, some people like me who, I'm not clinically ADHD, but I love not knowing if something works. It's hard for me to even drive to the comedy club the same way. It has to be a little bit different. None of my sets are ever exactly alike. The only time it was close when I was preparing for my special.
Right.
And I hated it because I wanted to try some new stuff.
But you had to keep.
I gotta get this hour ready. So I had to stay on track. And my dear friend David Arnold, who passed away, as you know, when I would be working on something and then he'd see me veer, he'd be like, get back to the set. I'm like, sorry. Material. Right. Because I'm dying doing this thing over. It has to become rote. It has to be, automatic.
Yeah, it is crazy to me. Like, y'all be remembering an hour straight of material? That's a lot.
Yeah. But it's easier when it's a story.
Yes.
And that's why I encourage all these young comedians, forget jokes, tell stories. And that's going to make you unique. They can't steal, well, there's still comedy thieves out there, but it's hard to steal your story about your stepfather who used to take you to the racetrack. No, your real father actually used to take you to the racetrack for Thanksgiving.
I mean, if you do a truly authentic routine, nobody else could do it.
I would love to believe that. That's why I kind of hesitated. People will figure out a way to add some nuances, but it's harder. It's easier to tell. It's easy to steal my Diddy jokes and my R. Kelly jokes because that's out there. And
That's out there. Like,
but if it's
me and
something
my kids,
specific,
when Ronnie Chang did his hour, was it Asian Comedian Destroys America?
yes,
Me and my kids listened to that 8, 9 times. They loved it. We get in a car ride, we listen to it again. Nobody else could do those stories. He's getting married in Malaysia in accordance with Chinese customs and culture.
Yeah.
He's working at the Daily Show. Like, it was so
Unique.
his life. No one else. And that same year, we were also listening over and over to Michelle Wolf's hour. She had an incredible hour. And that was also like, no one else could do that hour. That is her. You know.
yeah, she's great. I like people like that. I like writers, just like you. I like to be thought provoked a little bit. I got some friends who are professors and doctors and lawyers, and they go to a comedy show. They go, I don't want to think.
Well, you don't have to.
Hit me over the head. I've been thinking all day at work. Just give it to me.
I'm going to destroy
You
you.
know what I mean?
I'm going to make you laugh. See, part of what you guys do, when I laugh hard, I lose some of the oxygen to my brain, right? So I'm like not really fully there, right? And then you make them laugh again, and now I'm like physically weak, right? The audience, right? Like sometimes the audience is like, I am exhausted from laughing. Please stop, right? Because it's like it has a huge physiological impact on you in a way that the other things like singing. And,
Our goal is to actually kill you. When people say I killed last night, they really hope somebody died. You know what I mean? We want people to be bellied over, tears, slapping each other. Yeah, that's our goal. Like, damn it, nobody died tonight. Tomorrow.
Good luck with killing people.
Yeah, I try to take them right before they die and resuscitate them.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
That was great.
Hey, if you like what you saw today, be sure to check out more Touré Show content right here. Don't forget to click that subscribe button for more Touré Show content every week.